Okay, we want to give God the glory again each and every day, and we appreciate God giving us the rain and doing all those things of that nature to give us those conditions. The positives from last ball game, really only one or two things. I think the one thing was we competed very, very well in the game. The other thing that was positive about it, being able to have John Lunsford kick a 57-yard field goal, and I think he's had now 10 plus, around 10 field goals over 50 yards. Now we move on to this next ball game, Georgia State. Trent Miles, their head football coach, I know of him a little bit. We've had one or two little conversations. I know he's a good football coach and been around a lot of great coaches. I know he was at Indiana State, did a fantastic job there. They had beaten the #1 team in the country there when he was there at North Dakota State, and I think they won 11 games there at Indiana State. So I know they improved from last year to this year. This year, the team is better than last year. So I've seen more athleticism, more speed, more experience. They have gathered up a good group of people there from UAB, 3 or 4 guys there. They've got guys from Central Florida, a couple other junior college guys, and you can see the improvement on all sides of the ball, the kicking game, the defense, the offense, from those scenarios as far as what they have done in recruiting. Offensive coordinator Jack Adinsky was at Buffalo at one time when he was there coaching at Boston College, so I've seen his offense, and he does a great job of pro-style offense. They get the ball out as far as his progression and his reads, but I know he also has had opportunities to be successful in coaching quarterbacks. Has done a fantastic job of doing those things. So their quarterback is a good football player, a good quarterback. He gets the ball out, has a quick release. So I'm very impressed the way he's throwing the football right now. They average almost 30 points a game, or about 460 yards per game, and so they can do a lot of things. They are somewhat of a spread offense as far as what they do offensively, so they do some of those things. I think the strength of their offense is their receivers. They probably got 3 to 4 guys that good speed, good height, and they do a great job of catching the ball, and they can do something after the catch. Defensive side of the ball, Coach Mentor. Some of you may have heard the name of Rick Mentor, former head coach there at Cincinnati. That's his son, so I know he knows football. They've done a good job at Indiana State when he was with Miles there, so they've been together for a while. Their defensive guys are good tacklers. They show good speed, particularly, I would say, the interior. When I say interior, I'm speaking more about the linebackers and the safeties. I think that core group of guys are really good football players. They run well, they hit well, and they know what they're doing, and they do a great job there. Defensively, from a scheme-wise, I'd say they base have a 3-4, but they play a little bit of everything. They do go to some 4-man, so they do a mixture. They play a little bit of the bear defense and those kind of things, and so we're going to have to be ready for multiple fronts. They have shown that they do a little bit of multiple fronts. On the injury report, Wesley Scott is out. Lower body. Javon Majors is out. Upper body. Darren Peterson is probable lower body. Keys to the game. We must improve in tackling. If we don't see them improve in tackling, then it could be a long day for us. We must score 30-plus points in the ball game. And we must execute well in our special teams. I haven't seen us. Maybe the first ball game was okay. Everything else has been okay, but we have not played up to par in the special teams here, particularly in the last 2 ball games. And so I'm not just talking one phase, at every phase on the special teams, punt return, kickoff return. Every phase I want to see improvement, and we must play well in this game, and they do a pretty good job on special teams. Open up to some questions.
Coach, how exciting do you think it will be for your players to have played at the NFL Stadium inside a dome, playing in the Georgia Dome? What's it going to be like for them?
Well, I hope by about 2 seconds they kind of enjoy the dome and be focused on the execution of the game. Obviously on Friday going into the stadium, they'll kind of get excited about that and seeing that. Yeah, it's great to say that you played in an NFL stadium. That's part of it, being 18 to 22 years old, having that experience of it all there. And then knowing you're going to have good conditions. You don't have to worry about all those type of things. So there's going to be a little bit of us to coach them up in a way and not letting distractions or certain things or certain environment going to dictate how they play. So it's going to be a good experience for us.
Coach, you said Saturday in the post game that you were you were disappointed with the way the run game, or the offensive line never got established, and you could never get a run game going. How much have you guys stressed in the last couple of days of really getting after it on the offensive line and really trying to establish a run game so that way you don't have to rely on Josh throwing 47 times in a game to try to win?
Well, we're going to make some adjustments, coaching staff-wise. We've talked about it as an offensive staff and sat down and really analyze everything to personnel, to schemes. And so we're going to make some adjustments, and we're going to see if we get the things better than where we're at. I'm not saying we got to be 200 or 300 yards or whatever, but it needs to be better than what we have. And again, I always talk about 4 yards per carry. That's in general what we expect for us to be able to do, and hopefully we can definitely get to that point. So we will make some adjustments.
Going back along the lines of what Dennis was asking with the whole experience, playing in the NFL stadium, but then also going to the College Hall of Fame. I mean, is that something that, you wanted to be able to have the rest of the team experience after experiencing it with Josh and Chima at Media Day?
Well, for us going to the College Football Hall of Fame, I think just any time we can continue to educate our student athletes, that's part of our responsibility here at the collegiate level. And so I think the opportunity, there are some places where maybe there's something historically. It doesn't have to be from an athletic side of it, but just something educational. And I see this as an educational opportunity for us and give them a chance to see some things. So a lot of people won't have that opportunity to ever go to the College Football Hall of Fame. And so if we're able to do that, I think that's just a good little breakup, little change up for us to do. And I think they'll be excited about it and look forward to it.
Coach, was Saturday kind of a breakout game for B.J. Farrow? I know he's looked good in practice and started off good this year, but it had a huge game on Saturday.
Well, he's improved every single game, every single practice, and that's what you've asked our players to do. I think he's one guy particularly that has actually done that. Every day you see him get a little bit better, catching the ball, running his routes, blocking, communication-wise as far as with the other receivers, understanding the whole concepts. He's done everything we've asked him to do, and I'm glad to see him really coming to his own, and he's still got some work to do to even get better at things that he needs to do. So we're very pleased the way he's playing, and we anticipate him to make some more plays.
You spoke of the improvement that you've seen on the defensive side for Georgia State. Last year they were gashed up the middle a whole lot. What have you seen that those the few transfers have brought into the middle of that defense so that way you don't get those gashes up the middle and that they try to make you go to the edge where they can utilize their speed?
Well, I think the number one thing is experience. People that they played with last year, some of them are still back, but they have experience from last year. They're a little bigger. They're a little quicker. They understand schemes a lot better. They're able to get off the blocks. And then the guys that they brought in, they're faster, they're athletic, and they're experienced. So I think in every aspect from the defensive side of the ball, they've improved in every area. We always talk about improving in this, improving in that. And Georgia State has made some of those adjustments in a good way as far as their talent.
With Wesley Scott out, Corbin Jackson, need more snaps for him out there on the field. How do you prepare him for that? Well,
Corbin, he's going to get the same amount of snaps. It was actually more at corner. Holloway and Wesley Scott were really playing the same position now. So it'll just get Holloway there. We'll probably have Peters, rotating in there and those type of things of that nature. You got Guillory on the other side and those guys rotate. So it's not going to affect Corbin Jackson per se. But again, we feel good about our personnel. You've seen us play a whole lot of DBs, so I don't see it being a tremendous factor as far as negative from our side of it.
Has Todd Macon made a case to get more reps, you think?
I think he's done well. We're continue to discuss those things of that nature. We kind of go into the game playing two guys. Macon is, in a sense, has been the third guy. We're now evaluating. He could get some more reps. I think we just have to wait and see.
Petey, like a last-second decision last week to not play him, and do you see it kind of playing out that way again this week, or you feel more confident?
Yeah, it was a late decision there to decide not to play him. He was just not quite game speed, I guess is what I would call it, and that's what I told him, and wasn't ready to play. Yeah, he maybe could have played, but I didn't see him being able to be productive help our football team, and thought it'd be good for the rest of him. I anticipate him to play this week. Again, you go to practice, some things may happen in practice, and it may not be quite the 100%. That's why I say probable, but I anticipate him to play this week.
Coach, in a way, was Saturday's game, do you guys view that as somewhat of a wake-up call after the big win over Montana, to have kind of a letdown and to
No, it's just football. Each game is its own unique game, only unique preparation, and that's why we take it as coaches and to be able to try to say that to our players and get them to do it, because you have to look at every game individually. Obviously, we know it's going to get a little bit more pats on the backs and all those things of that nature. I think our guys were prepared to play. We moved the ball up and down the field and did some good things. We just didn't finish from that aspect of it. So every game is a learning experience, whether you win or you lose. Obviously, when you lose a football game, there tends to be more aspect to say that, hey, you can learn more from it. We learning more from it from our coaches, staff too. What our players are able to do and what they're not able to do, and we have to make some adjustment to make sure we give them a better chance to be successful.
The decision to go for it the first time on fourth down on Saturday, was that about just trying to yank the momentum back from them, and then also I guess was that a turning point in the game?
The first fourth and one, you're saying per se?
Instead of kicking the field goal, taking the points.
I just felt we could get for 1 yard. I guess it was just an instinctive deal. Wasn't necessarily what they did or what they couldn't do and all that. I just felt that we were going to be able to get a yard. It's kind of the same thing on the second go-round. I felt like we were able to get a yard. Unfortunately, their D-line and their people were better than our guys on those particular two plays.
There were a number of 50-50 balls down the field defensively that went in favor of Southern Illinois. How do you address that with your secondary?
Oh, we continue to work on turning their hips, ball control, we call it, as far as those guys being able to have ball skills. All you do is continue to work on those drills. And you can see it 100 games in a week. And you see it all the time, I don't care what level, whether it's high school, college, pro, 50-50 balls. Sometimes the offense gets them, sometimes the defense gets them. And you just got to continue to work on that. Some guys are better at it than others. And the offensive side of the ball, too. Some offensive guys are better to judge a ball, and some defensive guys are better to judge. So we just continue to rep it, and because you're going to see that every game. There's going to be balls thrown up, and hopefully your guys can either defend it from a defensive perspective or pick it themselves.
I thought we played an okay game. Coach Gill was saying we definitely needed to come out and play our best game. They came off a bye week, so they were a little more prepared probably than we were for them, but that's still no excuse. We didn't execute very well. Did go down third down, but we would drive all over them, then get down 20, 30-yard line, just stall out, and then missed a couple field goals. And defense gave up some quick scores, and I had 2 fumbles off sacks. So as a team, we didn't play our best game, and that's how you get beat. And that's what happened. Came off a big win against Montana, and then ended up stumbling against Southern Illinois. So we're definitely going to bounce back this week.
Josh, you said Saturday that you guys were nonchalant during practice last week, and how much have you guys as leaders, those guys, about being prepared and coming to work every day and not just resting on what you did the previous week?
I wouldn't say so much as we were nonchalant, more so that maybe we were a little too confident coming off the Montana game, that we thought we would just be able to go out there and play as good as we did against Montana, when each game's different and you have to show up to every game and play your best, and obviously we didn't, and that's why we lost on Saturday.
A little easier to come back and be a little more focused after a game like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's definitely a game that makes you step back and figure out what you did wrong, instead of always going off, well, maybe we played bad, but at least we won. Whereas, we played bad and we lost, so now we definitely have to, look back at the small detail things, because sometimes I think people get caught up in, overlooking the finite detail stuff when you win, because the big scheme of things is, did you win or not? And when you lose a game and you don't play well, that's when you really have to turn around and figure out what's going on, and really step back and look at the details and figure out how can we improve on the small things so that we can have success as far as winning the game.
Running game wise, how much are you hoping that the line continues to make some strides forward, and so that way you don't have to throw the ball 47 times.
Yeah, we haven't been running the ball very well this year. We've definitely been more of a pass-oriented team so far just because our run game has pretty much been non-existent. And the type of offense that we run, we definitely need to be able to run the ball better because play action doesn't do anything. If you can't run the ball, they don't even honor it. So we're going to have to improve on that big time so that I don't have to be throwing the ball 47 times a game. You know, that sounds good coming from a quarterback, but in the grand scheme of things, we're throwing that much because we're not able to run the ball. And the more balanced we can be, the better off of a chance we're going to have to win the game.
Do you guys look at last week as just a bad game overall for the team, or kind of a wake-up call to say, okay, maybe we need to work on some things and we're not as good as we thought we were after the Montana game?
Yes and no, a bit of both. I think more of it, we didn't execute very well. You know, obviously we're a good team. We beat Montana, and Montana beat North Dakota State. So we're obviously a good team, and we know that we can, be one of the better teams in the country this year. So I think more so than anything, it was just us having a bad game. You know, we came out and, we were late getting to the field to begin with, so we didn't have much time to warm up. There was something with our departure that got messed up. So we were late, getting there and warming up, and so we were kind of out of our comfort zone to begin with. So that might have affected it a little bit, but still, we gotta, no matter what the circumstances are, the situation happens, we got to be ready to play. And we were tired at halftime. We didn't have much energy, so I think that kind of drained on us as the game went on. So we're gonna have to figure out some way to come out and get some energy and get some focus in the second half to where we can play as good as we do in the second half as in the first half. But we're not a bad team, or it's not that we don't think we're as good as we really are. We're a solid team this year, and we're really good, and we can play with anyone. Just that particular game, we didn't execute very well, and that's what happens when you have 9 guys doing the right thing and 2 guys doing the wrong thing. You have a negative play. Whereas on the defensive side of the ball, when you have the same thing, 9 guys doing the right thing, but 2 guys doing the wrong thing, something could happen and they get big plays and stuff. Same with special teams. We had missed field goals, and we had 10 guys blocking, 9 guys blocking, 1 guy holding, and then the kicker ends up missing it. So as a team collectively, we need to have all 11 guys doing the same thing every play.
Josh, you were an element running the football last year, not so much this year. Has that been more schemed defensively against you guys, or if you did run it more, do you think that could open up things for the tailbacks?
Last year, we had a lot more option in, but I think one reason why I'm not as much incorporated into the run game this year is because we have so many running backs this year. Last year we were cut down pretty slim once Dez was hurt and then Todd Macon was hurt, so I kind of had to run the ball more. So I don't think they're gonna want to run me all the time if they don't have to, just because we have 3 really good backs. So I think that's a big thing, but. More so than anything, I'm trying to stay in the pocket a little longer this year. My pocket presence has been pretty good so far this year, and going on to the next level, I'm not going to be able to outrun all these guys. So staying in the pocket and delivering strikes down the field, I've really tried to improve on this year, and I think so far it's been pretty good for us. Even though I don't have as many rushing yards or touchdowns as I did last year, we're still a good team, and I think me staying in the pocket and delivering strikes down the field is going to help us be a better team, whether it's passing or running.
Been a little tougher for you to stay in the pocket the last couple of weeks. The clock in your head kind of speeding up a little bit here.
Yes and no, because obviously Montana we had 5 sacks, and then this past game we had 2 sack fumbles. So I'm not rattled in the pocket, but there is sort of the clock where am I staying in here too long? Because there's always more things you can do in the pocket, whether you slide step a guy, make a guy miss. But to a certain extent, you have to realize when, the gig is up and you need to scramble. So overall, I think, we've been doing a pretty good job with our pass protection. We can always improve. So far it's just been missed assignments, not so much lack of talent at the offensive line, because we have great players all across, tackles, guards, and center. They're all really good, and it's just mental mistakes that have really been costing us as far as sacks and stuff go. So once we get those cleaned up, then there shouldn't be a problem back there.
BJ Farrow is the freshman of the week. What are the biggest improvements you've seen in BJ's game?
He's always been a really good player. You know, everyone was talking about he might be one of the best players to, like receivers to ever come through Liberty. You know, with his ability to go up and get the ball and his hand-eye coordination. So we always knew he was going to be a good player. And once he understood the offense and started getting more reps and stuff, that's when he got more comfortable and was able to go out there and be fast with it. So we've always known he was going to be a good player, and you know, this year he's just been able to shine more.
You spoke a few weeks ago entering the West Virginia game about having to play up a level and how you need to play almost a perfect game in order to be at that level. You're placing a Georgia State team coming off a bye. How much does that make you need to play better because they've had an extra week to scheme, an extra week to rest, and an extra week to kind of digest what they need to do?
Yeah, definitely. I think it all comes down to execution. You know, we can't have 10 guys or 9 guys or 8 guys doing, you know, the right thing and the other guys doing the wrong thing. We have to execute at a very high rate this game, and our team grade needs to be up in the 90s this game for us to win. They're a good team, and, you know, we're a good team. So we're going to come out ready. Game plan's going to be good. I'm sure the defense is going to have a good game plan too. So that's a big thing for us is we just got to execute. We need to stop waiting around for people to step up and make plays and, you know, take the initiative and make plays on your own.
Focusing and execution, there's a couple of little extra things around that can kind of distract you. I mean, I think the team's probably used to flying at this point, but like playing in an NFL stadium, you guys are going to the Hall of Fame. I mean, you're still treating it like a business trip, but there are other things. I guess, how are you handling that?
Oh, fine. You know, being a college football player, you got to enjoy it some. It can't all be about, you know, a business trip. So I think it's a good thing for us going down and seeing the Hall of Fame. You know, we're getting to spend some time in Atlanta. We're flying too, which makes it easier on the travel part. So it's going to be fun. At the end of the day, it's just a game for a lot of these people. So we got to go out there and just enjoy what we can. You know, there's not many teams that would just take a trip to the Hall of Fame and just be able to spend time with your teammates. So we're going to enjoy it. We're going to have fun. But at the end of the day, you know, we're down there to play a game and to win the game.
Been there once already, kind of telling the guys what to expect.
Yeah, it's Hall of Fame's a good time. I'm sure everyone will love it. You know, we went up to the College Football Hall of Fame or the NFL Hall of Fame when we went to Kent State. So now it's kind of funny. You know, we've come full circle. We've seen the college or seen the NFL. Now we'll see the college one. So it'll be good. I'm sure everyone will be excited, and it'll be a good time for us.
Obviously, weather's not going to be a factor Saturday. I know preparation for West Virginia was kind of curtailed due to weather. This week potentially could be. How does that affect game planning when you have to do things like on the fly when it comes to practice if it rains and things like that?
Really, you just have to be ready to ad lib at any time, you know, whether we're going into the indoor facility or whether we're, you know, actually going to practice in the rain. So the big thing for the offense, I'm not so sure about the defensive part, but for the offense, it's, you know, we got to get reps. You know, the defense, most of the time what I hear is, you know, they just need to get the looks and figure out what they're doing and stuff. But for the offense, you know, we need to get reps. We need to see what the other team is going to be giving us. We need to, you know, rep those plays, you know, especially third down. So that's going to be big for us later on in the week when we start getting into third down and goal line and stuff is, you know, we need to get on the field and get those actual reps. So hopefully, even if it's raining, we can be able to get outside and, you know, at least get the looks that we need to be prepared for Saturday.